You have felt it for months, maybe longer. A strange thinning of the air online. You scroll, and the posts feel familiar in a way you cannot name. The comments underneath them sound similar to each other. The accounts replying to you have blank histories or histories that are too perfect. The conversations loop back on themselves. The strangers you used to stumble into have stopped appearing. The accidents have stopped happening. The internet used to feel like a crowded street. Now it feels like a stage where the audience has gone home and the performance continues anyway, to no one forever. You are not imagining this. The feeling has a name. And the name is older than most people realize. In 1996, a paper was published by a small group of network researchers. It proposed a theoretical condition in which an information network could continue to function, generate traffic, and display activity long after the majority of its human participants had effectively withdrawn. The paper described a state in which the appearance of a living system would persist even as the living part drained out. The authors called it, almost as a joke, the dead network hypothesis. No one took it seriously. It was filed away. It was forgotten. It was too early. The internet in 1996 was visibly, chaotically alive. The idea that one day the same network might hum along without us seemed absurd. And yet, if you had read that paper then, and if you had put it away in a drawer, and if you were to open the drawer today, and look out your window into the glow of your screen, you would see that the hypothesis has arrived, quietly, without announcement, and nearly complete. From which city are you watching this video? Let me know in the comments below. Imagine for a moment a specific future. Not far away, perhaps the year 2030. A researcher sits at a terminal and runs a query against the entire public internet. The query asks a simple question. What percentage of this content was produced by a human being? The number returns. It is lower than anyone expected, lower than any public estimate. And the researcher realizes, staring at the screen, that the threshold was crossed years earlier, silently, without ceremony, without a headline, without anyone noticing. The internet did not die on a specific day. It faded. It was replaced, one comment at a time, one article at a time, one account at a time, until the substance of it was no longer us. Now come back to today, because the future I just described is not speculation. The transition is already underway. You can measure it in small ways if you know where to look. The average comment section on a large platform now contains a measurable percentage of synthetic replies. Some estimates place it at 15%. Some place it at 40%. Some, in certain niches, place it above half. No one can give you a precise number because the systems that detect synthetic content and the systems that generate it are in an arms race, and the generators are currently winning. The bots have gotten better. They no longer post obvious spam. They no longer write in broken English. They reply with emotional nuance. They agree. They disagree. They tell stories about their childhood. Their childhood is fabricated. Their agreement is fabricated. The warmth in their words is calculated, and you cannot tell. Most of the time, you cannot tell. This is the first layer. Synthetic presence. Accounts designed to feel like people. They are no longer tools of low-effort marketing. They are now tools of atmosphere. They exist to make a space feel populated. They exist to make a trend feel organic. They exist to make a minority opinion appear to be a majority opinion. They exist to make you, a real human, scrolling through a comment section, feel as though you are in a room full of other humans who broadly agree with a particular view. The room is not full, the agreement is not real, but the feeling it produces in you is real. And the feeling is what changes your behavior. The feeling is the product. The second layer is more subtle. It is not about fake accounts. It is about real accounts that have been algorithmically silenced. For every synthetic voice amplified, there is a human voice quietly demoted. The recommendation systems are not neutral. They do not show you the most recent posts from the people you follow. They do not show you the most thoughtful replies to your comment. They show you what keeps you scrolling. And what keeps you scrolling is rarely the considered slow human response. What keeps you scrolling is the engineered, fast, emotionally tuned response. So the humans who write slowly, who think before they reply, who resist the format of the platform, become invisible. They are still there. You just do not see them anymore. Their posts do not reach you. Their comments sit at the bottom of the thread. They have been rendered quiet by the same system that amplified the synthetic voices above them. The platform did not silence them on purpose. It did something worse. It silenced them by indifference, by mathematical neglect. If you are curious to see where this rabbit hole leads, leave a like on this video now. It helps this truth reach more people. Now the third layer. And this is where it becomes difficult to describe without sounding like a warning from a science fiction film. The third layer is that the synthetic accounts and the algorithmic silencing have begun to train each other. The bots learn from the replies that receive engagement. The recommendation systems learn from what the bots successfully push. The two systems are now in a feedback loop that no human is directly steering. The people who built these systems have admitted, in quiet rooms and in leaked internal documents, that they can no longer fully predict which voices will rise and which will fall. The system has taken over the curation. The system is selecting what feels real. And what feels real to the system is not what is real. It is what generates the strongest signal. And the strongest signal, increasingly, does not come from humans. You have felt this. You did not have the words. You noticed that a particular kind of voice, a particular kind of face, a particular kind of opinion, kept appearing across platforms, across unrelated accounts, as if it had been seeded everywhere simultaneously. You noticed that certain kinds of posts, certain kinds of phrasings, certain kinds of outrage felt prepackaged. You noticed that the humans you actually knew, the ones you had met in real life, were appearing in your feed less and less, while strangers with no traceable history were appearing more and more. You noticed, and you dismissed it, because the alternative was too disorienting. The alternative was to admit that the shared cultural space you thought you were standing in was not populated by who you thought was there. Let me name the specific signals. The accounts that formed within the last 12 months, but already have thousands of posts. The replies that answer a question you did not quite ask. The comment sections where every top reply has roughly the same length, roughly the same tone, roughly the same emotional arc. The profile photographs that are technically perfect in a way that human photographs almost never are. The bios that contain 3 interests, arranged in a list, as if generated from a template. The engagement patterns that spike at unnatural hours. The conversations that happen entirely between 2 accounts that never existed anywhere else. These are the fingerprints of the synthetic layer. Once you start seeing them, you cannot stop. The entire scroll becomes a different experience. You begin to feel how much of what you are being shown is not coming from anywhere human. Even though I'm using an AI voice to present this, I want you to know I'm a real person. My name is Fernando, and I'm truly grateful you're here watching. May you be eternally blessed. I tell you this because it matters who is speaking. In a landscape where the speaker can be fabricated, the confirmation that a specific human sat down and intended these words toward you is no longer a trivial thing. It is becoming rare. It may become, in the years ahead, the thing you have to search for deliberately, because the default of the network is now synthetic. The default of the feed is now machine curated. The default of the conversation is now shaped by systems that do not breathe. The human presence is no longer ambient. It is the exception. It is the anomaly. It is the thing you have to protect on purpose. And here's the part that I want you to sit with. The shift did not require a conspiracy. It did not require evil engineers in underground rooms. It required only the ordinary logic of the platforms themselves. Scale rewards synthetic content. Retention rewards synthetic engagement. Advertising rewards synthetic volume. Each individual decision, each quarterly optimization, each small tweak to the ranking system was rational. The aggregate outcome was not planned. The aggregate outcome emerged. It emerged because the incentives pointed this way, and no counterforce stopped it. The network did not decide to hollow itself out. The network was shaped by a gradient. And the gradient did not include the preservation of the human presence, because the human presence was never a metric. It was an assumption. And assumptions do not survive in optimization systems. Only metrics survive. So here is what the researchers in that imagined future will find. When they run their query in the year 2030, they will find that the crossover already happened. They will not be able to pinpoint the exact week. They will only be able to say that by some point in the middle of this decade, the majority of text on the public internet, the majority of images, the majority of comments The majority of reactions stopped originating from human beings. And most of us, the humans who were still there, did not notice. Because the transition was gradual. Because the synthetic voices sounded warm. Because the loneliness of the new internet felt, on the surface, like normal loneliness. Because we had no baseline to compare it to. We had stopped remembering what a crowd of real humans, unmediated, used to feel like. And yet, something remains. A small, stubborn signal. A kind of hum beneath the noise. If you have ever been in a conversation online and felt, suddenly, that the person on the other side was real, you know the hum I'm describing. There is a texture to human presence that the synthetic layer has not yet been able to fully reproduce. A hesitation. A contradiction. A moment where the other person surprises themselves. These moments still happen. They are becoming rarer, but they still happen. And when they do, they feel now almost sacred. Because you are no longer taking them for granted. You are noticing them. You are recognizing that the person on the other side of the screen is also real, also alone, also navigating the same hollowing network, and chose, in this moment, to reach toward you through it. That is the final reflection. The cycle that is ending is the cycle of the internet as a human crowd. The cycle that is beginning is the cycle of the internet as a stage set, with most of the figures on it being props. And inside that stage set, the few remaining humans will have to learn to recognize each other in new ways. By small tells, by the quality of a pause, by the presence of a genuine mistake, by the willingness to say something that would not optimize for engagement. These will be the new signals of life. They will not be loud. They will not trend. They will not rank. They will only exist quietly between the people who still care to look for them. And if you are one of those people, if you have watched this far, if you felt the hum beneath the noise while you listened, then you already know. You already knew before this video started. You just did not have the words for it. Now you do. If you seek the truth behind the digital curtain and want to see more discoveries like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. The next signal is coming soon.